20 light years away from planet Earth, there lies a beautiful, diverse, unique planet revolving around its red dwarf star with its twin. Despite the loneliness of its two-planet system, Place is full of life due to its position in the habitable zone, the certain distance around the star that isn't so close that all the water on the planet will be vaporized, but also not so far that the water will freeze. Another rare quality of Place that makes it a great place to visit and makes it a great place for life is its plate tectonics. The moving magma underneath the crust that makes the plates move also creates the magnetic field around Place that protects it from solar rays and makes it more habitable. This is because these same solar rays, without the magnetic field, would erode the atmosphere. Plate tectonics also form the great landscape of Place. The convergent, divergent, and transformed boundaries of these plates create the mountains, volcanoes, islands, and rivers of our planet that allow it to sustain all sorts of ecosystems and creatures. The day length of Place is a whopping 60 hours, which makes days warmer and nights colder, but the year length is only 32 of these days, which makes the change in temperatures and climate very drastic because each season is only 8 days long. This just adds to the diversity of the landscape on Place. The tilt of it is 60 degrees, making the angle of sunlight very, very different in these quickly changing seasons, which, once again, adds to the already drastic change in temperature across seasons. This also makes every latitude on Place very different from one another, as the tilt can make the climates of these locations very extreme in different parts of the year. The food web of the organisms on Place is not too complicated, with plants acting as producers, primary consumers eating the plants, and secondary consumers eating those animals. But it is the strange creatures themselves that make the ecosystem of Place so wonderful. The species that will stand out the most is the world tree, a primary producer. The world tree is a giant tree with roots spanning across the longitude of the planet. It has multiple quote-unquote trees sticking up from its very long root system, but the main tree is located on the North Pole. This famous adaptation of very large roots, spanning over many different places and climates, came originally from its lack of ability to withstand the fast-changing climate of Place. When a mutation occurred that spread its roots extremely far, this single tree survived among the many that were dying and became the world tree. This adaptation helped it because it could transfer necessary nutrients to keep it alive along its root system, even if one branch of the world tree was in a freezing temperature and the other was in a place with lots of water and nutrients at the same time. Another autotroph or producer is the claw plant, which has a hard fruit at the bottom with 5 green stems that lead up to hands that collect sunlight and also slap creatures away that are trying to eat the fruit. This is because the fruit at the bottom is actually what becomes the stem for the child plant that goes through the ground. The last autotroph is the cannon plant. This plant grows through rocky terrain and uses that terrain as a shield from hungry animals, while it shoots up edible seeds to reproduce and water to lure those thirsty animals towards the plant so they eat the seeds and end up distributing them throughout the area. 2 primary producers are the rocky ball and the freezer geyser. The rocky ball, while too short to reach the leaves on the world tree, does consume from the other 2 producers. Its ball shape allows it to roll down hills and mountains very fast, so it can reach to the seeds of the cannon vine and get past the handsy defense of the claw plant to eat it. A physical adaptation for the rocky ball are its 4 eyes. By having 4 eyes and pointing in different directions, it can make sure it does not fall into a ditch and slow down so they can make it to food before others. The other primary producer is the freezer geyser. The geyser has no eyes but knows where to go through smelling and hearing. It eats all of the producers except for the hard claw plant, which it doesn't have the teeth to chew. It eats by forcefully sucking in the air around the plant, which sucks in the plant itself. A behavioral adaptation for the geyser is its hibernation and also the ways it can prepare for it. The freezer geyser gets enough nutrients to be able to hibernate during the time that it cannot survive the climate outside is by storing half the things that it eats in a sack in its stomach that actually acts as a freezer. This is because it contains actual snow from the outdoors that was also sucked up. The ice keeps the food fresh, so when hibernating, the geyser can finally take the nutrients from that food to keep its body functioning during the time it must be hibernating. The secondary consumer is the diving spider. It eats the primary consumers and even the highest level on the world tree. It flies and tries to eat the primary consumers who try to hide from it in various ways. But enough about the amazing ecosystem of place. There are also lots of fun things for tourists to do. One of those very unique and fun things is long slope skiing. The change in climate mixed with the high altitudes of the mountains on the planet makes it so there can be a snowy mountain right next to a sunny beach. Long slope skiing allows tourists to take one long lift and ski all the way down from the top of the mountain, and once they are at the bottom, to attach themselves to a boat and start water skiing without having to stop once. There are many places to explore and many things to do in this wonderful planet of place. It is a must-see destination for any space tourist and anyone looking to just have a fun vacation. Experience place. Go to place.com/visit.